True. Right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Oh. Hang on here. Wait, what happened? So, hang on, guys. Give us a moment.
We're live right now.
We're live right now. Sorry about that, guys.
Everyone. Yeah, salute to everyone in the chat. Salute to everyone joining us. It seems that the starting intro got cut abruptly, so we're just gonna get right into the show. This is MMA Weekly with Austin and Chef Dan. My name is Chef Dan. We're here tonight to break down everything that happened in the pay-per-view in UFC 269. You know, the main event was Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. But first off, I want to start off with Austin. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Been a we're good weeks. I can't really complain too much. And I'm definitely looking forward to talking what happened last Saturday and looking forward to this Saturday, as this Saturday is a pretty good card. And last Saturday was a really good card, a very excellent card. And can't wait to talk to you guys and look forward to speaking to everyone that's live in the chat, everyone that watches us afterwards, and everyone that listens to us too on audio platforms as well, whether it be Spotify, Buzzsprout, PodFM, etc., Reason FM, etc. How you doing tonight, Chef Dan?
I'm doing great, but let's get right into it. What's the first fight you want to break down?
That's a tough one. I'm debating between main event and co-main event because what happened in the co-main event, it's like, I'll let you choose.
You want to? All right. You know what? Let's do this right. Let's start off with the first fight on the main card. It was Sean O'Malley versus Roy and Piva. Sean O'Malley won the fight in the first round via TKO and punches. To me, this fight was exactly the way we spoke about it. This was Sean O'Malley just having another level on his opponent. Purely, he's just so skilled, and Roy and Piva was not ready for it. Sean O'Malley was dancing in and out. You know, Roy and Piva did give him a little rough time here and there in the beginning, but it wasn't enough to where, he disrupted Sean O'Malley's rhythm. As soon as Sean O'Malley got going, he was, jumping in and out, tagging him whenever he wanted to, and then, just laid on the punches and bunches, and then finished off Roy and Piva. Tell me, Austin, like, what did you see in this fight?
I saw Sean O'Malley, a guy in Sean O'Malley who basically looked like he was a step ahead in terms of the striking department against Piva. Like I said, early on, Piva did some things to make it where it wasn't where Sean didn't just destroy immediately. But however, the round kept going on, Sean kept getting more and more comfortable, and then eventually he was able to drop him, and then once he dropped him, he was able to throw some more shots and drop him again to the point where Piva was basically out, and the referee, I forget who the ref was. I think it was Herb Dean. Could be wrong. I want to say Herb Dean. I don't remember who the ref was in that fight. Was it made the right call and stopping the fight? Because Piva looked like he was trying to keep fight, go for legs. It looked like he was trying keep someone go, but he was out basically. I mean, Sean O'Malley was just dropped him, and Sean O'Malley was basically continuing to beat him up. But it was a good call. It was a great stoppage from the ref, and another great performance for Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley shows that he has a lot of talent, especially striking. I mean, Sean O'Malley may be one of the better, maybe one of the better, a very great striker. Let's say 135.
No,
very careful.
No, I'm not even. That's not a crazy statement to make.
Yeah, because 135 is a lot of great strikers. I mean, you got
go
ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm just agreeing with you. Like you're right. The division does have a lot of great strikers when you look at it, but all in all, Sean O'Malley is he's a really great striker.
Yeah, I mean, he is a very great striker, and his striking was showcased here against Piva, and Piva had seen like nothing could do nothing to stop it. Not even try takedowns. Even I don't think he went for a takedown that I recall. Do you recall him going for a takedown that fight?
No. And as much as you want him to go for a takedown, the commentators called for it all night. I called for it. At what point do you guys not watch film and see that Chito Vera won off of leg kicks? At what point do you guys not introduce leg kicks when fighting Sean O'Malley? Because it seems like that was the thing. That was what Roy and Piva had produced during the fight that helped them during the beginning and threw off Sean O'Malley's rhythm. But as soon as he saw it, breaking his rhythm a little bit, that's when he tried to rush. And then after that, he just stopped throwing leg kicks altogether. And it was like, why did you get away from that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he hurt himself during a leg kick. I don't think so, but who knows? Good question. Why did he stop doing it? Very good question. I mean, unless Sean checking him very well. I mean, if Sean was checking him very well, I can understand, but I don't think he was, from what I recall that fight.
I remember that fight. He really wasn't checking them well at all. I would like it. It was one of the reasons why Roy and Piva was able to last for as long as he did in that first round.
Right, and you're right, and it's kind of weird that you go away from that, especially when you're doing decent. I mean, kind of surprised. Now I think of it, it is surprising. I mean, it was his mistake, and Sean capitalized on that. Sean did what he had to do and took him out. Before the second round. Well, yeah, before in the first round, before the second round. And Sean O'Malley with this victory moves up the rankings. Now he's ranked number 13. Because I remember when the fight first got announced, he was 15, Piva, but he got out of the rankings. Don't remember why. But he beat Piva, a guy who had a pretty good record going in this fight and had won 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And because of this fight, Sean O'Malley's now in the rankings. He's basically now from here. It's gonna be ranked fighters and tougher opponents that people want to see for Sean O'Malley now. And where do you think Sean goes from here now, Dan?
Looking at the division right now, I don't know. Would you like to see him? Is Raphael Assuncao? Is he a book for a fight?
Yes, he's fighting this weekend.
If he's fighting this weekend, then oh man, Frankie Edgar. I don't know why, but they said Frankie Edgar moved up in the division.
Did he? That would make sense.
He moved up to 11 because Pedro Munoz dropped.
Yeah, that's right. He does have a victor with Pedro Munoz too.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Frankie's got to recover from that vicious knockout.
Yes, he does. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if they do Sean and Frankie hopefully doesn't fight for a little while before they fight, considering the knockout was so vicious by Chito Vera.
This guy has called them out. I don't know if you want to do this at this time, next year. Well, not this time next year, but maybe, I'd say around February, March of next year is Merab Dvalishvili.
Yeah, do you though? I mean, I like the idea of that fight, but do you take it if you're Sean? Do you want to go out of your way to book it?
Oh, matter of fact, why am I forgetting this? This guy just won in the same card on the preliminaries, and they both have been having a nice little back and forth. How's about Dominic Cruz?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a vet. I mean, Sean. I mean, this is definitely a big step up for Sean. I mean, going against the former, bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz, a guy who's actually on a roll now. He's won 2 in a row, which we'll definitely talk a little bit more about the Cruz fight against Pedro Munoz. And guy is on a guy. If you beat Dominic Cruz, especially impressively, it would definitely propel him to not only the rankings, but maybe close to a title fight. I mean, his cachet would definitely grow bigger. I mean, Sean O'Malley already has a following already. I think doing something impressive against a guy like Dominic Cruz can somewhat rise it a little bit more than it already is right now.
And it would get Dominic Cruz out of the preliminaries right back into the main event, right? At least not a main event, or this wouldn't be a main event, or it could possibly be a main event for a fight night.
Yeah, I was
But
say.
if not, it could at least just be on the main card for a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. It should be a main card of any pay-per-view, fight night, or
anything
main event.
involved with Sean O'Malley, is the main card event.
Has to be, especially Cruz. I mean, anything involving Cruz, you can make an argument, especially now coming off 2 in a row victories, should definitely be a main event or of a fight night, especially even if he doesn't fight O'Malley. Let's say he gets the wish to fight Aldo. I mean, that should definitely be a main event of a fight night or a main card fight.
Most definitely. But then again, Aldo and Dillashaw.
Yeah, I agree. That's the fight I prefer to see.
That's the fight. Aldo and Dillashaw, and you get Cruz and O'Malley.
Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against either one. You know, Cruz, Aldo, Cruz, O'Malley, Dillashaw, Aldo. It's great either way. I mean, it's a lot of fun matchups in bantamweight that we can say.
You could also have maybe Sean O'Malley defending his ranking spot against Song Yadong.
Yeah. I didn't think about that point.
Yeah, there's a lot of matchups. There's a lot of interesting matchups in this division. So with that being said, I want to move on from there and get to the next fight on the card. Kai Kara-France versus Cody Garbrandt. This ended in the first round via TKO and punches. You tell me what you saw in this fight. You let the people know what happened in the fight and what you saw.
What I saw is a guy in Cody Garbrandt who had me and you had questions going last week going into this fight about the weight cut and why is he dropping weight, and how would that affect him. We see guys cut weight and it affects their performance and their ability to take a punch. I mean, Cody already has that suspect chin at 135. Now he's going at cutting out 10 extra pounds, being less hydrated, etc. And he's in a weight class he's not used to. And I was wondering how could that affect him, not only his performance, but also his ability to, take damage. And we saw, Cody got dropped, and it was basically to get at the end of Cody Garbrandt. And Kai Kara-France, who's got some power, trains out of City Kickboxing, which is a great gym, especially when it comes to striking. Goes out, go out there and takes care of business and able to finish Cody Garbrandt. And I saw a guy streaking flyweight for Kara-France, so against a guy in Cody Garbrandt who went down weight when he probably shouldn't have. And that's what I saw. But you brought up something interesting, Dan. You and I were talking before the show that I thought was a very good point of yours.
Okay, during the fight, Kai Kara-France landed a couple of shots on Cody Garbrandt and dropped them. Cody Garbrandt goes into some wrestling. They go into a clinch. They go against the cage. They don't go against the cage. He separates, right? And he's running along the cage trying to dodge some shots from France. He does, and then right after that, he tells France to bring it. Right after France brings it, it's the end of the night for Cody Garbrandt. My thing is, what was the plan there? What did he see to tell Cody to come inside and throw more shots? Because you dismiss the wrestling. You use the wrestling as a tactic to get back up to the feet, and he got you clean on the feet. If I was Cody, man, it's early in the round. You guys aren't sweaty. Let's change it. Let's change it to wrestling. Let's change the flow of the fight. Let's muck it up a little. As much as, you said that this was, a weight cut problem for Cody, this is, to me, man, this wasn't a good analysis of the situation that he was in at the moment. It wasn't a flash knockdown. He got you clean, and like we said, these guys in this division, they do that. The accuracy all throughout this division is. We named all the names already, but the all throughout the flyweight division, and the accuracy is top notch. And so when you do that, like why would you not immediately mix the martial arts? That's the only question I would have.
Right, and also they got speed too. Flyweight, that's another thing. Probably more speed in bantamweight. In bantamweight's got fast guys also.
And if you could use the wrestling and get out of the round, you've at least guaranteed that you've worn him down.
Yeah.
Now the speed drops a little, but it, to me, that just wasn't a great analysis of the situation in moment right there.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, when you branch it out, that's a good point. It's like Cody tends to have this problem where he gets hit and wants to, trade one and give one type of vibe. He wants to, go out there and bang, and it cost him against the Pedro Munoz fight, if you remember.
Yeah, but see, the worst part is this division only does that in the third round. They don't trade shot for shot unless they're dead tired and you've taken them there because you've mixed all the martial arts. Truthfully, like, remember the Moreno versus Figueiredo fight, the first one. Remember, it really, like, they showed a level of skill all throughout the fourth round. It only really took until the 2 minute of the fifth round for these guys to be dead tired and go, you know what? We're going to stand right here in the center and we're going to trade.
Yeah, good point.
And then we saw that Moreno made the adjustments. I'm going to mix the martial arts in the next fight. And then he secures the championship.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. What?
Yeah, I was just, that was my whole thought, watching that fight. I like I said, I called it the way it was as far as, I saw that accuracy come in from Kai Kara France. He's been a guy known to get those knockouts, city kickboxing. That's what those guys do over there. And so it was just, I saw it coming.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you're right, basically. And now Cody Garbrandt, once you wonder, where does he go from here? Probably should go back to 135. Where does he go anywhere? Considering this is I'm trying to remember. Dillashaw twice. There's Pedro. The fourth fight. It was the last 6 fights where he's been knocked out. Basically, 2 Dillashaw fights, the Pedro Munoz fight, now this one. And it's kind of crazy because we were mentioning Dominic Cruz earlier. December. 5 years ago. Yeah, it was 5 years ago. Not to the day. That was like December 31st, December 30th. I remember when Cody Garbrandt beat Dominic Cruz to win the bantamweight title. It looked like the future was bright for Cody. Cody had a great performance against Dominic, and 5 years later, he's only won 1 fight since then. It's kind of shocking to think that after that performance that would happen to Cody, and that Dominic Cruz will still keep on winning, win more fights, and still be more, I guess, relevant in the weight class than even Cody Garbrandt. I mean, it's something that when you look back, you go, it's pretty shocking that happened.
It really is, but time is a funny story, and the way it unravels itself, we're all just witnesses to it.
Yeah, that's a good quote. Yeah, and for Kai Kara France, he was calling for a title fight because there was reports that if Cody had beaten Kai, they were gonna give Cody a title fight against the winner of Figueiredo and Moreno 3. And Kai's saying, if that's the case, then I deserve a title fight considering I just knocked out him. That's his case. That's his case.
I like the bravery. I like all that. Slow your roll. Pantoja is making a great case.
And
Askar
Askarov.
Askarov is right there.
I forget one of them. Askar Askarov basically was saying that he wanted to fight Kai Kara France.
Exactly.
He said,
That's your route to contention right there.
Agree. I think Askarov and Kai number one contender fight, and you have Pantoja fight. Go ahead.
Wait, you said Pantoja fight too?
The winner of Moreno Figueiredo, if
Nope.
Askarov and Kai for.
I wouldn't do that because if I'm Moreno, I'm choosing the number 2 contender.
If he beats Figueiredo.
If I beat Figueiredo, if Figueiredo wins, I'm choosing the number 2 contender as well.
Askarov?
Askarov or Kai Kara France, whoever wins that fight.
I don't know. I think Pantoja has a case. I mean,
Pantoja has a case, but he's still too fresh right now. I'd give him some ring rust. I'd let him sit out some time. Or if he does want to fight so bad, then you pick up a fight. I'm not gonna lie, as much as we want fighters to take the best fighters at this time or whatever, you also got to play the game sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I like Moreno. He's playing the game well. He's not saying too much, but when he is talking, he's saying the right things. He said, Pantoja's really showed himself to be a contender, and one day I would like to have that fight because he has beaten me twice, and I would like to get that victory. But for right now, there's certain business that has to be taken care of. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do like that. If the thing is, Askarov wants to fight, Kai, and Kai is willing to fight it. I mean, I think you should book it. Especially Askarov's call out. We basically mentioned. Remember the last time someone for your gym fought against someone from from Dagestan, reference to Hooker and Islam. I was like, ooh, I kind of want to see after that reference.
That'd be very interesting. But yeah, like I said, Brandon Moreno, he has the belt, so he can play the games.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if the Derrick Figueiredo and Moreno fights another war. I'm not saying he's going to, but what surprised you was another one where where both guys take a while to fight again. I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah, but I think it'll be solved. I think we'll definitely know who the winner is by the 3rd or 4th round.
Huh. I mean, I get okay. Yeah.
Not to say no. All right, man. We'll save that prediction for when the fight happens.
Yeah, that's still a month away. We still got a little month away before that fight happens, and we'll break it down when that fight comes. By the way, good victory for Kai Kara France. Definitely insert himself in the title picture now with that performance. And we'll go from there to the third fight of the main card, which was a welterweight matchup between Geoff Neal and Santiago Ponzinibio. And Santiago Ponzinibio wins this fight. Geoff Neal wins this fight. My apologies. Split decision, 29-28 for Ponzinibio, 30-27, and 29-28 for Geoff Neal. Now, personally, I thought it was 29-28 Geoff Neal. I don't see how Ponzinibio didn't win the second round. I think, if I remember, I thought Ponzinibio did enough to win the second round. By the way, the right guy won to me. It was the right guy won. Geoff Neal, I thought, did enough, especially in the first and third round, to he landed cleaner shots and was able to not get hit as much against Ponzinibio. Ponzinibio seemed like he was trying to make it more like a dirty fight, like a brawl, back and forth brawl, but Geoff didn't play the game, and that's what probably won the fight, was getting hit but not getting hit, getting out the way, not playing Ponzinibio's game and finding his style, and that's how he was able to get the victory. And this was a fight that seemed like some people in the crowd were kind of like, they were kind of like, a little restless, but to be fair, they've seen, 2 great knockouts, and also Josh Emmett and Dan Ige in the prelims was pretty great as well. Also, but yeah, I mean, either way, Geoff Neal, I feel like did enough to win this fight and break a 2-fight losing streak. And what are your thoughts of this fight, Chef Dan?
This wasn't the best Geoff Neal.
Nah, I wasn't.
That's why the crowd got restless. It like honestly watching the fight after when was it? I'd say 3 minutes into the first round, I got angry at Jeff Neal. If you saw the breaks in between rounds, his coaches got angry at Jeff Neal.
Yeah, that's true.
They got angry at Jeff Neal. The crowd got angry at Jeff Neal because this fight could have been won for him easily on the silver platter, and he didn't need to lose that second round. To me, both of us, I think we're both in agreement that Ponzinibio won the second round
Yep.
because Jeff Neal slowed down his action, slowed down his activity, and that was something that I don't know why he did. And then even going into the third round, he started off slow, but as soon as he realized, hey, if I just pick up the rate of activity, I'm landing good shots. I can wobble him a little here and there. I don't have to finish him. I just have to keep landing the great shots. Like Jeff Neal is a great technical fighter. Excuse me. When Jeff Neal fights, the hands are high, elbows tucked in. He's firing straight, like everything is tight. He lands where he wants. Like he's all in all a great fighter, and he has great power, even through the jab. So I didn't understand why he slowed down his activity rate. That was the one thing that kept, bugging me. And his coach just kept screaming, "Yo, Jeff, you gotta." They were cussing him out. I'm not gonna, repeat a lot of the words they were saying, but Jeff, you gotta effing do more. You gotta effing do more. You have this fight right here. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Use your footwork, get out of range. 1-2. If this guy want to kick, catch it, or if not, you block it. You move around. You throw some kicks back. He doesn't like it when you leg kick. Throw that leg kick a lot more, and then 1-2 follow up.
Hello. Looks like Chef Dan's screen is frozen here. So apologies. Give us give us one moment. Yeah, but his coaches, Jeff Neal's coaches, to pick up what Dan was talking about, were getting frustrated with him. They were telling him do more, but Jeff it seemed like wasn't. And Chef Dan definitely has a good point when Jeff Neal could have done more, but didn't do more to in that fight. And Jeff Neal is a very good fighter, very technical, talented fighter, but for some odd reason, he just didn't fought his typical fight. It was I don't know, he respected Ponzinibio too much, or maybe he was afraid, or maybe I know he got in legal trouble. A couple weeks earlier. Maybe that affected his training. Possibly. I'm not saying it's the case, but I mean, yeah. I mean, Jeff Neal could have fought a better fight, didn't, but he did enough to win though, and that's what his coaches were getting mad at him for not finding a better fight, and that's a great point Dan mentioned. But nevertheless, he does enough to win, and Jeff Neal is still ranked number 12. Ponzinibio is ranked 14. That was a big, two ranked welterweights. Both guys were able to get the victory. I mean, not excuse me. I don't know what I'm saying. My bad. Both guys were ranked, and Jeff Neal got the victory. So Jeff Neal now gets the opportunity to have other ranked fighters, bigger fights. I don't know why I said both guys had won the victory. That's just stupid. My bad. I was trying to say both guys were ranked going into this fight and still ranked, but Jeff Neal got the victory. Now he gets the bigger fights. Now, the more I think about it, I mean, I'm trying to think who should Jeff Neal fight next. I mean, maybe Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, why not? Although I think Khamzat maybe should fight Magny in my opinion, but that's just me. Well, I mean, I don't know why they haven't made that fight yet. Maybe you do Khamzat and not Neal, but Jeff Neal possibly, or maybe you can have Jeff Neal fight the loser of the co-main event of this upcoming card. Hang on, give me one moment. Chef Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm sorry. I lost connection real quick.
No, that's okay. Continue where you're leaving off with Jeff Neal.
Yeah, it's just Jeff Neal needed more activity to convincingly win this fight. If he did that, then he would have, it wouldn't have been a split decision. But that was what was needed of Jeff Neal. As far as Ponzinibio, I know he tried to make it a dirty fight with Jeff Neal, but I think he went about it the wrong way. Uh, I felt maybe if he just started off with some technique. Started off, being as clean as Jeff Neal. You want to step in and find your range. From there, you do some clinching and throwing some kicks and going up against the cage. You try and truly make it a dirty fight in that way, but he tried to make it a dirty fight in space. It really doesn't happen with technical fighters like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Right, and before we move on from this fight, I was just mentioning, fights for Jeff Neal, possibly, where's he go from here? Who's he fight next? Maybe. I was thinking maybe he can fight the loser of the co-main event between Wonder Boy and Belal Muhammad as a potential next fight for Jeff Neal. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, he definitely needs some time to heal, and he needs some time to clean up in a training camp, and that would be a great fight for him. I really like that. I'm not, kind of itching to see Jeff Neal back in the ring right now. He needs to I think he needs to focus in on himself.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, maybe do that, and who knows? Maybe Jeff Neal is talented, like you mentioned, and we've seen him have better performances. Have and we should see. Hopefully that's just a one-off. That was just a one-time thing, and maybe he doesn't do that again, and he fights better. But we shall see. Now we go from that fight to one. The two big stories of the weekend. Obviously, was the main event and what happened here. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw history. We witnessed history. This was one of the all-time great upsets in not just UFC history, but MMA history. Now, where's the rank? I mean, who knows? I mean, we can talk about that maybe later. But, ladies and gentlemen, Juliana Pena defeats Amanda Nunes via rear naked choke in the second round to become the new UFC women's bantamweight champion. This was shocking. It just was shocking to see. First of all, she survived Amanda on top of her because I think Amanda knocked her down, or if I'm mistaken, the first round, or no, I only was knocked down. I'm forgetting how Amanda got on top of her, top position, but
I think Juliana shot, and the shot failed, and they rolled, and Amanda ended up on top. But then she tried to, get out of side control and things of that nature.
Right,
because
and
remember they were wrestling. I remember now they were wrestling in side, and they were wrestling. I remember Amanda a lot of the time was fighting for side control in that first round.
right, and usually when Amanda's on top of you, she usually goes for finish, where it be ground and pound or submission, things like that. But she wasn't doing that as much as she typically would do, and Juliana was able to survive that and get the fight up to defeat. And in the second round, she was connecting. Her striking wasn't great. Like, she's not like a Valentina Shevchenko type of striker where she's elite, or Holly Holm, but her strikes were landing. I mean, her jab. I mean, I found she kept landing straights, and Amanda seemed a little tired too. That was another thing that was surprising. Now, usually Amanda recently has worked on her conditioning and cardio, and she hasn't had those problems, but she was having it here, and she was able, she was tired, and also whenever Amanda went for a strike, she was trying to knock Juliana out. Seemed like she was trying to go knockout blows, and some of them she kept missing, which only made her tired even more. And then when Juliana was able to get in position to put on the rear naked choke, Amanda, it was much easier for Juliana to do that, because and once she got it on, Amanda had no choice but to tap. Now, some say it was a quick tap, but it's like, yeah, but Juliana had she had the rear naked choke on. I mean, it only Amanda was going to fight out of it at that point, especially how tired she was, and she really had no choice but to tap out. To me. And it was, like I said, it's just, I still can't believe it happened. Because last week I was saying, until I see Amanda lose, I'm not going to pick against her. That was my mentality. And I saw it. It's just one of those things that you remember. It's kind of like when Rousey lost to Holly Holm. You remember where you were when that happened? Or, when Conor lost to Nate Diaz, you knew you remember where you were when it happened, or any upset. Like if you're, I didn't watch this live. I mean, but if you were watching MMA in 2007, Matt Serra beat George St. Pierre, you remember where you were when that happened. This is one of those fights that we're gonna be talking about for a long time from now. We're still gonna be talking about this moment, and it's congratulations to Julia Pena for pulling the upset, proving a lot of people wrong. And I feel bad for that dude who bet $300,000 on Amanda. That dude, man. Go ahead, Dan.
I was hurt this fight. I was. But then I started remembering that I had certain doubts about Amanda before this fight. And it wasn't just about this fight. It was just really the comfortability that Valentina Shevchenko had in calling her out. Like she felt, hey, I could get this easy. And I was like, like not easy, but she was like, I need that to run back. I need that. That's the only, blemish on my record. And I feel like I could get this one. I really, really. And she had a confidence that was, really oozing. And I'm like, why? And it's not. Okay. Let me get to the fight. Let me start off with the rear naked choke. I know you said she had no choice to tap. And I agree with you a little bit, right?
Right.
It's just that Juliana didn't secure the choke.
I gotta watch the choke again because some people have said that. You have to
Gotta watch it again because this is the thing. Her arm is right here. She has the arm under the neck, but she doesn't connect it.
like they typically do a rear naked choke like this, as
Yes.
me and Dan are demonstrating for audio listeners.
If you're watching, like, when you have one arm, with, your elbow up kind of in a right angle, you have the other arm over the bicep, kind of just where this arm, what am I talking about right here? What's this part right here?
Forearm.
Your forearm essentially is under the chin on the neck and you're applying pressure. The arm on the, other arm, when you connect it there, that's the, finishing of the pressure, especially when you have Amanda curled up in the fetal position. If you really look at it, like the dangerous part, like, how do I say it? Most rear naked chokes really don't occur unless the person is somewhat flattened out. It's rare that it happens where the person is curled up like that. Usually when the person is on top and they're trying to apply the rear naked choke, the best position they want is them flattened out.
Right, that's true.
So with Amanda curled up the way she is, I'm watching it and I'm like, she kind of never really got it secured. So that's where the bad optics is occurring for Amanda. Now, as much as, the choke wasn't secured, Amanda wasn't going to fight her way out of this.
No, she wasn't.
This was a losing fight all the way through. And for some odd reason, like, it didn't start off as a losing fight. But I don't know where, like, I don't know why. Amanda started like loading up on all her shots for no reason. She was just loading up on everything. I don't know, like it was a bad habit, and really, I just remember the latest Amanda fights, especially if you remember the Megan Anderson fight.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do remember that.
Like, how much loading up did she really do?
I don't that much.
It was none. Everything was clean. It was like clean straight. No loading up. Only when she caught Megan in it, like when Megan was really wobbled on her feet, was when she loaded up for the overhand right. But after that, it was no loading up. So I don't know why she decided midway through the first round to load up on every shot. And then her coaches are telling her, what are you doing? Why are you loading up on every shot? Get back to fundamentals. Get back to basics. Straight 1-2. And she gets out in the second round and continues loading up. This wasn't a, like, she took damage from Juliana through the jabs that Juliana was throwing, but the jabs weren't pretty from Juliana.
No, they were not.
They weren't. It was something where, like, if you had your hands up and you had good enough footwork, you could have blocked these, dodged these, and then returned something right back. And Amanda has a skill set to do that. This is one where, like, I don't understand why she just loaded up on everything that she did, but my gosh, this was a bad fight from Amanda.
Yeah, it was. I mean, she didn't fight that well. It makes you. I mean, I wonder, like, how was training bad for her? Like, I don't know what happened. Like, did she not get a good training camp going into this fight? Was she not motivated? Or I mean, who knows? Like, what went wrong? I mean, and I mean, it makes you wonder, like, what happened. Like, some are saying potentially her being a mom now, but my thing is Juliana is also a mom. Now I know Amanda's child was more recent, but she didn't have to carry the kid either, like Juliana did when she was. It's kind of like, there's a lot of questions like that leave us wondering with Amanda, like, what went wrong, what happened.
I'll tell you like this. As bad as this fight was, and the rematch is coming, and
Yeah.
how do you feel the rematch is gonna go?
I think Amanda probably should win the rematch, possibly, unless I think to me, I think she should win the rematch. But could Juliana beat her? Yeah, possibly she could.
Juliana could, yeah. We clearly seen that she has the ability to beat her, so she can always beat her a second time. But I feel like Amanda should win the rematch. But then, here's my thing: this loss was coming. And if it wasn't coming to Juliana Pena, you know who was gonna give it to her?
Shevchenko, they fought.
Nope.
Who?
Who do you know presents this type of ground and pound, this type of ground heavy and strike you and in your face and really tire you out type of style in her division? Well, soon to be in her division.
Well, if she signs over from PFL,
Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, 145. Yeah,
she was gonna lose to Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think personally, the way
this fight went.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say I know they're teammates and all, but they're not against the idea of fighting each other. I know Kayla's not against the idea of fighting her, despite being teammates with her. She's not against it, and you're right. If this Amanda showed up, Kayla was definitely going to beat her. That Amanda showed up against Kayla.
And if that Amanda showed up against Kayla, it wasn't going to happen it would have been worse in the first round.
Yeah.
It would have been worse in the first round because Amanda would have came out that first round bloodied up. Kayla Harrison is very aggressive.
Yeah,
Like
true.
Juliana Pena was hesitant, but then the second round, that's when she turned it on.
Right.
I this was just a overall bad fight for Amanda Nunes. And then the worst optics of it all was after you showed an undisciplined fighting style, the unusual, unbecoming of yourself. You then, kind of like, I don't know, you kind of have to watch it again, Austin. The choke wasn't secured to me. I saw all the, different angles. The choke wasn't secured.
You're not the only guy I've heard say that. I've heard other people mention that as well.
Yeah, man. I think like Juliana broke her.
If she broke her, I mean, if she did, how that could be a bad thing for Amanda career wise down the road. If she got broken. Now, granted, I don't think she's Ronda Rousey or Ronda lost to Holly. It was just
No, 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 no.
I know
Not
what you
broke her
mean. Not like
yeah,
that.
but I broke her will.
Oh, well, okay, her will, okay.
Broke her will. And so now we have a new bantamweight champion for the women new champion for the women's bantamweight division. And congratulations to Juliana Pena.
Yeah, definitely. Her teammate, the former women's bantamweight champion, who Mena took from the title from Miesha Tate was there, and Michael Chiesa, her teammate, was there, who was drunk and just you seen the footage of him running around, jumping the guard, and like apparently Dana White told a story how he freaking injured his eye, I guess, when he was trying to like jump in the cage and just it's like he was happy, but still.
Chiesa being Chiesa.
So yeah. I like Mike Chiesa, but he was just happy, being a good teammate.
Yeah.
But drunk, you gotta be careful when you drink. But yeah, with that being said, let's go to the main event. The other big story of this card was obviously the main event, which was Charles Oliveira defending his lightweight title against Dustin Poirier, and he wins the fight via third round submission, rear naked choke in the third round. And this fight was entertaining. The first round was really entertaining. They went back and forth. The pace. Oliveira got dropped, but Dustin didn't really, go for ground and pound, which I think, Oliveira's submission game play a part in that, and it played a part in his fight, obviously. And then the second round, first of all, Oliveira was able to get up and survive the first round. Even after he got up, he still got hit with some shots from Poirier. But like I said, Poirier won the round, but Oliveira survived. And Oliveira, once he was able to get the takedown the second round, it was basically he kind of controlled Poirier. Like Poirier kind of like in a lot of ways didn't like really like go all out in terms of trying to get up from the bomb position, but same time Oliveira was doing some work on top. He threw some elbows. He was making it uncomfortable for Poirier by putting his hand over Poirier's like face. Like if you noticed that during the fight, to like make it harder for him to breathe, etc. And like basically do everything he can to make maybe some ground and pound, or just making Dustin have a bad time there to really like just make it rough for him. And then the third round, Oliveira got on top. Was able to get a body lock, like as I like to call that position, the human backpack. Kind of like how Dan Maya nickname was that, where he used to get like a body like lock on you. You'd be standing, but yet he was still being positioned for a rear naked choke. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And like Oliveira, who also is a great jiu-jitsu guy, just like Dan Maya. Once he got in a position, you knew that unless Poirier did something big, he was in trouble. And Oliveira, who has he's the all-time submission leader. Once he got in position for a rear naked choke, you knew it was a matter of time. It was over for Poirier. Poirier had couldn't get out of it, and he had to tap out. And this was a really impressive victory for Charles Oliveira. He faced adversity. He got dropped. He survived some of Dustin's best shots. Dustin Poirier, we know he's got power to finish anybody. He throws hard. He can finish dudes. Ask Conor McGregor, ask Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez, etc. We've seen him finish guys with some of the shots he landed on Oliveira, but Oliveira was able to eat a lot of them and be able to survive. And also one thing Oliveira did that I forgot to mention in that first round, he drew a lot of body shots to Poirier. If you notice in that first round, drew a lot of knees to Poirier's gut. Like at least from like the first round all the way to like the takedown, he landed at least 11 body shots that I recall in Poirier. That I thought, man, this fight continues on. This can really hurt Poirier considering the body shots he kept landing on Dustin. Oliveira did. But near to say, Oliveira, the fight didn't go past the third round, 1 minute mark in the third round. And Charles Oliveira is able to defend his lightweight title and has won 10 in a row. It's crazy to think about Oliveira's UFC journey. This guy was 10-8 in his first 18 UFC fights. And now he's won 10 in a row. And he's the undisputed 155 title and beat what a lot of people call the best lightweight in the world, Dustin Poirier. And if that's the case, then Charles Oliveira is the undisputed best lightweight in the world in all of MMA. Shout out to him. And what are your thoughts on this fight, Chef Dan?
Congratulations to Charles Oliveira on a great victory that Saturday night. It was truly a wonderful display of skill in the striking and the ground game that he displayed. All the knees that he gave to Dustin Poirier, everything that he displayed, the will, fighting through the knockdowns and everything. He's shown that he will consistently be back in there. So it's he's a great fighter and truly deserving of the championship. And he is currently the best lightweight in the world. Let me get to the second round. I'm sorry. I got to get to that second round.
Go ahead.
What in the hell was Dustin Poirier thinking for that second round? What made you think that you could give up a second round in a championship fight? Why would you do that? And I know you said as soon as Oliveira got on top, he kind of was just landing everything. It didn't start off that way.
It didn't.
It started off with Dustin on top of Poirier. It started off with Dustin on top of Oliveira. Oliveira is trying to fight out of it, right? And then Dustin finds himself fighting out of an armbar. At that point, Oliveira is grabbing Dustin's glove. Why is Dustin not calling for the referee to tell him to get up, to get the glove off, right? Get rid of the glove, get rid of holding the glove, because at that point, once he breaks the hold, I'm separating. Let's get back up to our feet. No, you don't do that. You try and find some awkward way, and then you roll yourself into bottom and then submit bottom. That's what happened. He submit bottom and then didn't fight out to get out of it. And he submitted bottom, and how much time was left in that second round? I believe he submitted bottom at the 2 minute mark.
It was at least 2 minutes, at least.
At least 2 minutes. I wanted to be generous and say 2 minutes, if not the 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I can't recall when they got in the.
It has to be between 2 minutes and 30 seconds and 2 minutes, roughly around there. So you've given him at minimum close to half the round with you on top, not fighting out of it.
You
put yourself in a bad position. That was bad. That was bad fighter's IQ right there.
Can I say something? I think Poirier mentioned how he remembers when he fought Khabib that one of the problems he felt like he was. I think what it was, he was. Well, I don't want to butcher what he was saying, but the reason why he was like that because he didn't want to give up position and then get. What was the? I'm trying to remember the quote now. Like why he did what he did. It involved the Khabib fight where he was too busy trying to fight off. They got tired, and which allowed him in bad positions, something like that. He didn't want to repeat that again. He said something like that. I remember after the fight. I don't remember the full quote.
But all right. See, here's the worst part about it, though, is that you chose. For some odd reason, he didn't see the happy medium in it, where you can either aggressively try and get out of position or lay there and give up the position, right?
Right.
But there's a happy medium where you just you're slowly taking your time. You're edging yourself right to your corner. You want to get to your corner close to the cage. From there, you're listening to your corner because your coaches have an outside view of what you want to do. No. Here's how I want you fighting out of it. No. Here's how I want you fighting out of it. He didn't do any of that. that's where like it was like, why did you give up that second round?
Right. Yeah. I mean that. Right. Yeah. I mean, it seems like that really cost him. It hurt him because he was allowed Oliveira to. Even if Oliveira doesn't finish in the third round, if this point's a decision, that could have been in the butt basically. That decision, the second round, especially if it was a
Like
close round, a close
like
fight. Excuse me.
I don't know if fighters when they rewatch their fights if they get commentary, but when you have Daniel Cormier and Michael Bisping and Joe Rogan, all these guys, like when you have credited wrestlers tell you, hey, that body triangle with the foot when you're on bottom, it does absolutely nothing. Get your feet on the guy's hips, because when Oliveira got content to rain elbows, that was at that point because Poirier is deciding to lock in with his feet in a body triangle from bottom. No, when he wants to gain enough space, when he feels comfortable to lift himself up to rain down the elbow, that's when your feet are supposed to be on his hip. You kick out, you generate space. From there, you can get up. We've seen plenty of fighters do this. My issue was, why was he so content? At the very least, give some type of effort to fight out, but he just gave up the round.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. And you're right about the body triangle thing, and when you're on bottom, guys will do body triangle, and how basically it doesn't do anything unless you're like Oliveira or Damian Maia. Guys get off their back. It really doesn't do anything for you. Like it's kind of like you're right about how those guys you mentioned how that's not exactly a good position to get off to get offense or get the guy off you. I mean, I remember Big John McCartney talking about this with Douglas Lima when he lost his title in Bellator to Ansaroff, how he did the similar thing, body triangle, on the bottom, doing nothing, not trying to escape, and how frustrating it was to see him do it. And now you see, you mentioned now Poirier and how he did in the second round against Oliveira, not trying to put his feet on the hips to push, to try to get escape, to give him some room to escape. Just feet, body triangle with feet on the bottom, and how it just does nothing. It's not winning position. It does nothing. You're just holding the guy. Nothing happens. It doesn't. It's really it's almost pointless unless the guy is throwing a ton of elbows and you just want to hold him just so he can catch a breath and not get finished. But other than that, it really doesn't do anything.
Especially after the great first round you had. I know you ate a couple of body shots, but you got the guy down. You wobbled him, things of that nature. Your fight was in the stand-up game. Get back to the stand-up game, because I know Oliveira's throwing all them knees, but like to really lift the knee up to the body and things of that nature, he was clinching Dustin a lot. At some point, with all that length that Charles Oliveira provides, if he goes for the clinch while tired at the wrong time, going for while he's tired and he's creating some length while going for the clinch, that kind of gives Dustin, a lane. You kind of give him a one-way lane to say, uppercut me right here. Just come up the middle with the uppercut right there. Because my head is going to be down. My chin is going to be tucked in. And I'm going to try and go for the knee because I'm doing that. Either that or I'm trying to pull you down or go into some, go into some submission. At that point, just you're asking for the uppercut. And so I don't know why he submitted that second round. That was just frustrating to me.
Right. And either way, congratulations to Oliveira getting the big victory. And you're very strong, doing some, submitting Dustin Poirier again, another submission victory, as his 15th, if I'm not mistaken, submission victory of his career. Or at least, or UFC at least. I don't know about career, but that might be his 15th one, which I know he has the record for. I know he has the record. I think he just added on to it. Either way, congratulations Oliveira, and looks like him and Gaethje are next down the road. I mean, that should be a fun fight. Although I personally don't see Gaethje being Oliveira. I'm just going to be honest with you. Even before this fight, I didn't really think he was going to beat Gaethje, but now I didn't think Gaethje was going to beat him. Excuse me. But even now, I don't really think. I mean, not that Gaethje has a shot. I mean, he's got power, but so is Poirier. Poirier can hit just as hard as Gaethje, but I mean, but obviously Gaethje's different far from Dustin. They have different style. I mean, but Gaethje's weakness, as we know, is his grappling. Even in Oliveira is probably the best, is elite grappler himself. That's just me speaking. I don't want to talk too much because that fight hasn't been made yet, but plus, like I say, anything can happen in MMA, but that's just how I feel about the fight. You may disagree with me. You may agree. I mean, who knows? I mean, what are your thoughts on potential Gaethje Oliveira fight? Quickly.
Quickly, grappling wise, it doesn't bode well for Gaethje. But the thing you got to remember, man, is he has this ability, man. Like especially with the length that Oliveira provides. Gaethje has this ability with those leg kicks and the combination he throws to make the fight go his way at some point. And if he has that ability, he can control the fight. I think he can, provide enough, to possibly win that fight. It's not. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Oliveira just dominates this fight. I think Gaethje has a chance of winning the title.
Okay. Yeah, and Dustin Poirier's talked. I think he's talked about going up to welterweight potentially. That he seems like he doesn't feel. I guess he doesn't want to make the 155 weight cut anymore, which kind of makes sense because I saw Dustin Poirier in person 2.5 years ago at a UFC event in Miami. There was and he was, and my brother took a picture of him, and I saw him, and I didn't. This was after he beat Holloway in the second time for the interim lightweight title, and I couldn't believe that was Dustin Poirier. When I tell you how big he was, I mean, oh my gosh, I was shocked. When I first saw him, like, who does Dustin Poirier look like? At first, I couldn't even believe it was him. Then someone explains, like, no, that's Dustin Poirier. I'm like, what? This guy makes 155. I'm telling you, if you saw him in person, you wouldn't believe it yourself. I'm like, what in the heck?
I'm not even gonna lie. He looks like he would be a bit more comfortable with the power that he provides to go into the welterweight division.
Yeah, especially the power he has and especially that weight cut. I think he might be better off being a welterweight now. I mean, he's only 32. To be fair, he's 32. He's not super old. He's still young, but still,
he's still very young, and the age of the athlete has been extended due to science and the way fighters take care of themselves, the amount of fights that they do take. Some guys are learning how to extend their career. Not only in the octagon, but also during training camp. You see with the guy in Max Holloway, he says he doesn't spar anymore because to all the scar tissue he has already, but then all the fights he's had at this point, you kind of just focus on the techniques that you need to focus on, and everything else, the fundamentals and everything. If you're doing that every day, if you're coming in every day training already on everything else, when it comes to a certain fight, you kind of just train on the skill sets you feel that you need to get this fight done.
That's true, right? That's true, and I think Dustin can do well in welterweight. Personally, I think he can hold his own against some of these guys and probably beat some of them, and some of them might give him problems, like Usman, Covington, and Hamza, because they're grappling and wrestling more so, which seems like he tends to have problems against those guys. But nevertheless, either way, I mean, Dustin welterweight seems like that would be an interesting thing to see him to be a contender at welterweight. Sometimes guys do better when they go up in weight. I mean, we've seen it before with Rumble Johnson and Robert Whitaker, etc. When guys go up in weight, sometimes they tend to do better. We shall see. We shall see if Dustin does commit to 170. It's all here. It's either way. Great main event. Great main card. Also, I do want to touch briefly on the prelims before we break down this upcoming UFC event. And the main event, the prelims, was Josh Emmett versus Dan Ige. Josh Emmett wins this fight, I believe, 29-28, and two judges scorecards in 30-27-1. And this was a fun fight. I mean, I expected it to be fun considering these are two guys who like to strike and, who have power, and both guys had their moments. And, excuse me, my apologies. But Josh Emmett was able to land the bigger shots in this throughout the whole fight and dictate this fight. And surprised me with the victory over Dan Ige because I thought Dan Ige was going to beat him. Just me personally, just because of the layoff and the fact that I thought Ige was a little bit faster than him. I thought going into this fight, but Josh Emmett, every time you count him out, he always comes through. He usually reminds people that he's still a player in his division. And whether it be the Michael Johnson fight when he was losing, or it be after the injury with Steve he had with Stevens, he came back and still was a contender. I mean, shout out to Josh Emmett. What are your thoughts on this fight, Dan?
I didn't get to catch the prelims.
Oh,
I did
okay.
not get to, yeah. I had just come in from work, and at that time I had missed that. So
Yeah, it was a very good fight.
I
Both guys had their moments in this fight. Ige, I thought Ige had his moments as well. Both guys landed some big shots, but yeah, Josh Emmett was able to do more and get the victory. Now, Pedro Munoz and Dominic Cruz. This was a great fight as well. I mean, Dominic Cruz was doing well in the first round, but Pedro dropped him after Dominic was, I think he shifted to like his right or left, and like Pedro caught him and was able to drop him. But Cruz was able to survive, and Pedro won that first round clearly with the knockdown and with some of the punches land. But the second, third round were all Dominic Cruz. Seemed like Dominic Cruz tended to figure out what Pedro was going to do. Was able to basically get out of the way and avoid the big shots and land some shots of his own. He even cut Pedro Munoz in the second round. He had like a hairline fracture. I think it was called, or cut based in the hairline where Pedro was bleeding, which was kind of surprising for me because you typically don't see Dominic Cruz cup his opponents very often. And the fact that he did that to Pedro and Munoz was kind of like, oh damn. I mean, but Cruz was able to get it was a somewhat vintage Cruz victory where Cruz was a little bit more somewhat aggressive in his fights. Cruz was still being Dominic Cruz, moving, doing this weird movement only he does, getting out the way, but landing shots at awkward angles. Dominic Cruz stuff. You see Dominic Cruz, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I was happy seeing one of my favorite fighters still winning, still driving in the bantamweight in his weight class. And I was happy to see that. But yeah, also on this fight was Augusto Sakai versus Tai Bam Tuivasa. And Bam Tai Tuivasa got the second round knockout over Augusto Sakai. It was a very like vicious knockout. I mean the way Augusto landed, like, he really knocked out. He really got knocked out by Tai. I mean, it seemed like Tai was despite at times Augusto getting into the clinch, Tai was landing the bigger shots, and you knew that Augusto has power, but Tai has just as good power that if Tai was able to get one shot that could rock Augusto, it could change the whole fight, and that happened in the second round. He landed a couple other shots, and then he landed, I believe, a right hook or a straight right that dropped Augusto, and was able to get the victory. And the whole crowd was going nuts for Tai Tuivasa. I mean, he was beloved by that crowd in Vegas. I mean, everybody, which I don't blame him. Tai seems like a fun-loving guy. I mean, he's the type of guy you want to hang out with and go to a party or go out and just go to a bar with it, etc. and things like that. And hang on, before we go past that, I just want to show you something real quick, Dan.
In the corner. Oh, beautiful check left hook. Oh, Tuivasa's all over him. Oh, Sakai's big trouble. Oh my God!
Sorry about that. The video was acting slow. I was trying to show Dan the shoey he did. He did his patented shoey as he's become synonymous with, and the whole people in the crowd were doing it. Like, it wasn't just one or two people; multiple people were doing the freaking shoey.
Yeah,
I remember after some guy like caught the camera attention. Basically, so the guy basically he just did it from the camera and the broadcast just caught him doing the entire shoey. Multiple people were doing it. It was just, I mean, it's disgusting. I hate the shoey personally, but
hey, bro, if you keep your shoes and your socks clean enough, you trust it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like I said. Is anybody from Australia is watching us can explain why people do this shoey? What's all about? Can you please write us, explain to us.
I don't know. You gotta see Beer Fest. Das Boot.
Das Boot. That sounds German. It's actually Das Boot.
You gotta see Beer Fest.
Okay.
It's a funny movie. You got to see it.
Okay. Also on this card, I do want to shout out Aaron Blanchard, who got a pretty impressive victory over Miranda Maverick in the prelims. And she dominated Miranda Maverick. Like, when I mean dominate her. Like, it was shocking because Miranda Maverick is a really talented flyweight. I mean, we both agree that she did not lose her last fight to Macy Barber. That was bad from judging on that card. I mean, yeah, that fight, and Miranda, we all thought was a girl who could be a title contender, and yet Aaron Blanchard just controlled her and dominated her from beginning to end. It was like she just took her down at will and did basically what she wanted on the ground. She was able to move positions, do some ground and pound, not too much, but she was controlling her. And one thing I didn't understand was Aaron Blanchard's corner was telling her that she's grappling too much, which to me is like, yeah, but she's dominating Miranda Maverick. Why would you say that? Like, she's doing what she wants. Like, she's winning this fight by grappling. Like, why? She's winning. Like, Miranda can't do anything with her on the bottom of her. Like, why would you tell her that you're grappling too much when you're getting an easy victory? I found that bizarre, but maybe I don't know. But maybe coaches were worried. Maybe they want her to go for the finish or something. By the way, Aaron Blanchard, shout out to her from New Jersey, gets a big victory against Miranda Maverick. Definitely put herself in potential as a woman to watch out for in that women's flyweight division. And I'm trying to, and even though she's not ranked yet, but she's close to being ranked, Aaron Blanchard, definitely a woman to watch out for.
Most definitely.
Yeah, give a shout out to her. And also give a shout to is there anything else in this card I want to of note? I'm trying to remember. Oh, shoot, I don't need. No, that's it. I mean, Jillian. Hang on, I'm trying to pull up. Is there anything else that happened in this card that of note to mention? I'm trying to remember who was it. Eric Anders for. I know you lost by armbar. I'm just trying to remember who you lost to. Eric Anders. I know you lost.
Andre Munoz.
Yes. Andre Munoz by armbar. Andre Munoz, I mean, he looks like a guy to watch out for in the UFC's middleweight division. I believe he's ranked. Yes, with that victory, Andre Munoz got ranked number 13 with that victory over Eric Anders. And Munoz, I mean, he looked very well. He looked like the much better fighter of the two by far. Not that, I mean, it was. And Munoz also is the same guy that broke Jacare's arm early in the year in Houston, if you remember. So he's got 2 back-to-back armbar victories, and I believe he's on a 8-fight win streak now with that victory. So Andre Munoz, keep your eye out for him in the middleweight division. He's definitely could be a force in that division. And yeah, that's the other guy I want to shout out before we move on to this weekend's card. With that being said, UFC 269 in the books, fantastic card, contender for pay-per-view year. We'll talk more about that maybe down the road in terms of what was card of the year and things like that, etc. But we'll see. I'm not. It's a contender. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying something that you might want to throw out there. Daniel, you don't agree with me? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's something that to consider. We can
have the discussion another time.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that another time. Let's talk about this weekend. The UFC final UFC event of the year, UFC Vegas 45, Derrick Lewis versus Chris Daukaus. And this is a pretty good card, top to bottom. I really like this card. It really ended the year strongly, especially coming off a pay-per-view. And let's start with the main event. Chris Daukaus versus Derrick Lewis in the heavyweight division. Derrick Lewis is ranked number 3, Daukaus number 7. Chris Daukaus coming out victory over Shamil Abdurmo. I always have a hard time pronouncing his name. I always have a hard time pronouncing this guy's name.
Give me one moment.
I'm thinking now. I want to think of Derrick Lewis now. When he fought him, he butchered his name. It was Shamil Abdurakhimov.
Abdurakhimov.
Okay. He's come off a knockout victory over Shamil Abdurakhimov back in UFC 266 in late September.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Dawkins, of his 12 victories, he's got 11 KO TKOs. So he's got a lot of power in his hands, which is you expect from a heavyweight. But he's shown in his last 2 fights that he cannot finish guys by with his power. Well, not his last 2 fights, but I know the last 2 fights were won by TKO KO. And Derrick Lewis, you want to talk about a guy with knockout power? That's Derrick freaking Lewis. I mean, this guy's got 20 knockouts and TKOs with 25 fights. If you know anything about Derrick Lewis, he touches you, you're getting dropped. I mean, he's got that type of power, and he's probably one of the most powerful guys in that division behind Francis Ngannou, obviously. And he's come off a loss to Zero Gone back in UFC 265 in his hometown of Houston, Texas. And so this is a big top 10 heavyweight matchup where 2 guys are trying to keep themselves. Well, one guy is trying to get in the title picture, and Chris Dawkins. The other guy, Derrick Lewis, is trying to stay in the title picture. And this has a chance to be a barn burner. I think personally. I mean, what are your thoughts of this fight, Chef Dan?
This is a complete toss-up to me. I don't have a favorite in this fight. Anyone could get knocked out at any moment.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's a good point. Actually, I just realized Chris Dawkins, before the Shamil fight, his last 3 victories were all first round KO and TKOs, which is kind of really impressive when you think about it. So he's got power. So Derrick Lewis definitely has to, respect his power. But if you're Chris Dawkins, you also have to do the same thing too.
Yeah, like this is what I'm saying. This is who's your favorite in this fight?
Wow. I know Chris
Dawkins. Because either one, like they both have KO power.
I know Chris Dawkins has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which when I was researching him, I know he mentioned on his UFC.com a Q&A thing they did with him. He mentioned that, but the thing with Dawkins is this: especially in the early rounds, he really needs to be careful avoiding any shot from Derrick Lewis, because especially in the early rounds, because if he gets clipped and Derrick Lewis gets on top of him, he's in trouble. Because the one thing I've noticed with Derrick Lewis fights, if you ever watch, when he gets top of somebody, they're in deep trouble. I was going to say something else, but deep expletive, but still. Once he gets on top of them, they're usually going to get knocked out or done eventually, because he's got such power that his ground and pound. He needs his one shot on the ground, ground and pound. He can just put your lights out, and that's the thing. If you're Chris Dawkins, do everything you can avoid being on the bottom of Derrick Lewis, because if you don't, he's going to have a quick night and you're going to get knocked out straight up. I mean, he get knocked out standing up, but still, I mean, look at Chris Blades earlier in the year. I mean, he went for a takedown, was calling with the uppercut, and just
that's what I'm saying. Like it's, but I could see Derrick Lewis also getting caught by Chris Dawkins as well, because those are some vicious. Like I remember that Shamil Abdurakhimov fight, the way he made him like throw spit twice. I remember that.
Yep, I do.
Like, I can see Derrick Lewis getting caught like that because his defense isn't the greatest either. But at the same time, I could also see Derrick Lewis playing possum and then Chris Dawkins thinking everything's sweet, and then Derrick Lewis coming over the top and bang, lights out.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up to me.
It is a toss-up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll favor Derrick Lewis slightly. Just a slight favorite. Just a slight, like, if you're, for all your listeners, I'm doing like a very slight, like a small, like this close type of like jester type of he's just he's just a slight favorite to me. I mean, can I see Dawkins beating him? Yeah, I can. Will I be shocked? Not really. But I can see Derrick Lewis gain victory also. And I think he will get it personally, just slightly. I mean, maybe that's just me being the fan of Derrick Lewis, but
yeah, I'm a fan of him as well. But like I said, this could go either way. I'm not, and coming off the way Cyril Gahn took him apart, I could also see Chris Dawkins kind of keeping out on the outside and playing patient as well.
Right. I do, but I do wonder if he has that skill to pull off Zeragon, what Zeragon did though.
It, but Sirigan, it wasn't just with, skill. It was more so the patience. He was just very, very patient until he really, truly saw what he needed to see. That was when he started, teeing off on Derrick Lewis. But until then, it was a patience. And sometimes you just got to have that patience with Derrick Lewis. So, I mean, with that being said, I want to get right into this fight because.
Oh, before that, let me just mention that Chris Dawkins is a slight favorite, just a slight favorite. But sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, but all right. So Chris Daukaus being the favorite in that fight, I want to get right into the co-main event. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Belal Muhammad. This goes down in the welterweight division. Tell me, man, what do you see in this fight? Because to me personally, I think this is Belal Muhammad's moment. You didn't get it with Leon Edwards, but this is your moment right here to kind of make a statement, jump into close in the in the top 5 and things of that nature. You gotta beat Wonderboy.
I agree. This is Bilal's big moment. This is probably his biggest fight. I mean, I know Leon Edwards was a big fight, but this to me might be a slightly bigger fight considering who Wonderboy is and the fact that Wonderboy is being Wonderboy, having impressive. Well, it's hard to have a impressive performance against Wonderboy because of style. To be fair, even guys when they win, they don't look great. But still, needless to say, this is Bilal's biggest opportunity to his nickname is Remember the Name. He has opportunity for people to remember his name, pun intended, to if he can somehow beat Wonderboy. The problem is Wonderboy is so tricky. Even at his age right now, Wonderboy is still a tricky fighter to fight, and he can still hurt you with his stand up. I mean, he lost to Gilbert Burns. When the fight was standing, he tagged Gilbert and kind of hurt him in their fight back in July. The thing with Wonderboy is Wonderboy's got. Well, you're gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Wonderboy, Wonderboy has good wrestling defense, but if you're an elite grappler or wrestler, you can take him down with success. But that's if you're an elite grappler or wrestler. Ty Willie, elite wrestler, has an All-American from University of Missouri. Gilbert Burns, an elite grappler. I mean, he's competed and won several high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. It's with that being said, I don't think Belal Muhammad, as good as he is that elite grappler or wrestler. And Belal Muhammad is good all around, but I personally think Wonderboy is going to win this fight. I just think a lot of things Belal does well. I think stand-up wise, I think Wonderboy can do well. And it's a style that's tricky that can give someone like Belal a lot of problems, into where Belal may not be able to have a rhythm in place to hurt Wonderboy, which will make it Wonderboy's fight. And if Wonderboy can trick you and you can't have a rhythm, it's just an easy night. It's an easier night for Wonderboy to do what he wants and get the victory. And I think that's going to happen. Just me personally, and I could be wrong. Maybe Belal Muhammad goes out there and is able to figure out something about Wonderboy and be able to take it to him and get the victory.
I think what's going to play a huge part for Belal Muhammad if he wants to get a victory is he has to consistently throw a lot of leg kicks, and he has to use the fact that Wonderboy is a longer fighter to his advantage. So throwing a lot of leg kicks, getting his legs uncomfortable, and then from there you're rushing in, not letting him get range. You dictate range, and from there you can dictate pace.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Length and leg kicks. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, those are good points. If he can implement them, maybe he probably has a great chance of probably being Wonderboy, or at least a better chance than before. I didn't think about that. That's a good point there, Chef Dan.
So with that being said, you want to get into the next fight?
Yeah, I know Wonderboy's the favorite in the betting odds, but yeah, let's go on the next fight, which is a women's strawweight matchup between Amanda Lemos and Angela Hill. Angela Hill comes in this fight ranked number 12, Lemos number 11, and Lemos is on a 4-fight winning streak, and she has 7 KO TKOs of her 10 victories. She has 1 loss to Leslie Smith back in 2017. But since then, has she's put 4. I think this is Lemos' third fight of the year. Let me just check. I know she's been more and more active. I wanted to mention that Belal Muhammad also, this is his 4th fight of the year. So Belal's been very active because remember he fought in February to the late notice fight against Leon Edwards, fought against Damian Maia in June, and then next fight Wonder Boy, and now Lemos. I do believe this is her.
Yeah, this is her 3rd fight of the year.
Yeah, and she's come off an impressive first round TKO back in July. I can't remember her opponent's name now. I know it's Roriz, but her name is also a different name as well. But either way, she's coming off first round victory, and she looks like like I said, women's strawweight is the best division at women's MMA. I've said it before, and I think that I still stand by it. I think Amanda Lemos and her, someone like her being in this division definitely makes it more deeper and proves my point, as she can be someone who, with big victory, Angela Hill can definitely step into that near that top 10 ranking and put herself as another woman to watch out for in this ultra stacked division. But Angela Hill is no slouch. I mean, she's no pushover. Angela Hill, you look at her record, 13-10, but she's lost some very close fights, some fights that you can arbitrate probably should have gone her way. And she always brings it. I mean, Angela Hill is never in a boring fight that I can recall. Angela Hill always exciting, very fun, and a lot of UFC fans like Angela Hill because of her style and things like that. And excuse me, my apologies there. And I think Angela Hill, she is a very talented fighter and very entertaining fight. I think this fight's going to be a very exciting, entertaining fight. Personally, the last time I recall Angela Hill getting dominated or finished was probably the Rose Namajunas fight from 2015. Like I said, that was 2015. I don't recall that her getting that happened to her ever since. I mean, unless I'm forgetting a fight.
She hasn't gotten finished, but she has gotten dominated recently.
Okay, sorry, Tisha Torres. That's right, the Tisha Torres fight. Yeah, it's a good.
That was a bad loss. The first Tisha Torres loss was a bad loss, and the second one was even worse.
Yes, the second one was worse. That's a good point.
I'm a fan of Angela Hill, but I got Amanda Lemos taking this. Her power is too much, and the way she fights, I think, is a bad combination for this. The way Angela Hill fights. Angela Hill is probably going to want to, fight at a distance and try and win off of points. Amanda Lemos is going to rush in and try and go for a finish. I think she's going to finish Angela Hill.
I forgot to mention. I was going to mention that I think Lemos does press forward a lot, and someone I might mess up Angela Hill, especially she's to fight off her back foot. And like I said, we know Lemos got power, so it's possible that Lemos can, finish her. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lemos does that, though. That's I mean, I think something a lot about Angela Hill and things like that. But I do think Lemos is going to win. Do I think it's going to be finished? Possibly. I do lean towards that, but I can also see a decision loss. Either way, I think Lemos should win, but Angela Hill can pull off the upset, though. Although I don't expect it, though.
Yeah, I'm not expecting an upset with that one. I'm taking Lemos all the way.
Yeah. I mean, she might be another contender in this ever-growing strawweight division. That's very, like I said, best division in women's MMA.
She's a rising contender.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next fight, the 4th fight in this card, which is, not the 4th fight of the card, but the 4th fight that we're talking about in this card, which is Raphael Assuncao taking on Ricky Simón. Raphael Assuncao is ranked number 12, but he has come off 3 straight losses. And Ricky Simón's coming off is on a 3-fight winning streak. And Assuncao is, an OG. The guy's been fighting since 2004, I believe. At least 05, 04 on that range. I know that. And this is a guy who's beaten Aljamain Sterling, Rob Font. He has a victory over Marlon Moraes. And he technically has a victory over TJ Dillashaw, but it was controversial. We won't get into that. It's an owner's discussion for another day. But yeah, He's a guy who's been there, done that, beat a lot of guys, fought in WEC back in the day when WEC was the only place for bantamweights and featherweights to fight. And this is a guy who, before this fight, had a bad string of luck. Like, he lost to Cody Garbrandt a year and a half ago in June of 2020, and he was supposed to fight, a couple of times this year, but he had a bad string of luck. He got COVID, he had a bicep injury, if I'm mistaken, or injury, or someone pulled out. So he's finally able to get a fight this year. He had a back string of luck. You may argue maybe it helps him because if you remember, he got knocked out viciously by Cody Garbrandt in his last fight. I mean, you remember he was like laid flat down, and he's getting older. So usually getting knocked out at that age can really really slow down a fighter.
Really slow him down.
So I guess the only good thing is he hasn't fought since then, so maybe that might help him this fight. Although Ricky Simón is coming off, like I said, 3-fight win streak, and Ricky Simón is a very talented fighter. Like I said, after the loss to Faber and Raphael, he's put on three victories in a row, and he's a very good. And I personally think Ricky might take this. Like, this could be a big victory for Ricky Simón, put himself in the rankings of the bantamweight division. I expect that personally. Well, just me. I think Assuncao is at the end of his run, end of his career. That's just me. I mean, what do you think of this fight, Dan?
Inject that new blood in this division. We need someone to fight. We need someone to fight a Kai Kara France. We need someone to fight Manel Cop. It's new blood in this division.
Oh, no, 135.
I'm sorry, 135. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired right now.
That's
Excuse
okay.
me. But I'm sorry. Sean O'Malley, he's in that division. Sean O'Malley, yeah. Frankie Edgar just lost. I know Dominic Cruz is sticking around, but Merab Dvalishvili, he's in the division. Corey Sandhagen, he's still, he's lost in top 5 right now, coming off of 2 losses against championship quality fighters, but he's still right there. We got to inject new blood in that division. Song Yadong is on the rise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oliveira.
You're naming them.
Yeah, we got some new blood, like a lot of new blood in this division. I mean, we got a lot. Pierre Jan's technically newer. I mean, if you want to put him there, maybe not, but still, yeah, we got a lot of new, fresh blood, and this could be Ricky Simón's chance to inject himself there.
It looks like that way. Sometimes, a division kind of cleans itself out.
You're right, and I think that's what's going to happen with Simón when he goes against Assuncao. Now that did finish. What?
No, but especially with 2 of his victories coming off of coming from decision. I know he's gonna go the distance. He's gotten a couple of KOs all through his career, but he also can go to the ground and get some submissions. You said Assuncao just came off a bad KO?
Yeah, if you remember, his last fight was Cody Garbrandt back in June 2020. That's why I'm saying the good thing with, he hasn't been able to fight since then. Because he had bad luck in terms of injuries or COVID, things like that. The only good thing about that is that he's not returning so soon. And Ricky Simón is not exactly a guy known for his power. I mean, he's got 10 of his 18 victories are by decisions, but still.
I wouldn't be surprised if this ends in submission.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, Assuncao does have a good. Granted, when he was younger, a lot of submission victories, but to be fair, his recent victories all been by decision.
Yeah, but I think Ricky Simón wins this by submission.
Okay, right. Really? Okay. I mean, I think if he hurts him, he definitely could. Like Marlon Moraes, you remember the second Marlon fight where Marlon dropped him and then went for I think rear could choke guillotine. I forget one of those two, and was able to finish Assuncao. Could be that, but
it could be. But I see Ricky Simón hurting him and going for a submission.
All right, well, from there, I guess we could go to the next fight, which is Diego Ferreira versus Mateusz Gamrot. I pronounced his name right. I remember my first time he fought. Well, not the first time. First time, I had to say his name. I freaking couldn't say it. Saved my freaking life. But now I remember it. Mateusz Gamrot. Either way, he's going against Diego Ferreira, who's ranked number 12 in the lightweight division. And Gamrot's coming off a first round knockout of Jeremy Stevens. I know he knocked him out. I think it was first round, if I'm mistaken. I don't want to get it wrong, but I know Gamrot I know his first 2 UFC fights.
It was a Kimura in the first round.
Oh, Kimura. I don't know why I thought knockout.
No, because he knocked him down and then got the Kimura.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Okay. I know his first 2 UFC fights have all been he's won by finish. In January he won by not January, excuse me, April he won by KO over Scott Holzman. That's what I'm probably thinking of also. Scott Holzman fight. You hear me right?
Gamrot's got some power to him.
He does. And I didn't know Diego Ferreira has, fought a much tougher competition so far than Gamrot. I think Gamrot has the momentum. I think he can beat Diego Ferreira. Diego. Go ahead.
Especially with Diego Ferreira coming off of 2 losses. Granted, Beneil Dariush, Gregor Gillespie, we could see those guys, moving up in rankings and doing better things. But you coming off of 2 losses. You kind of need this one. You need this one to stick around. But Gamrot, he's got great power, and I think Diego Ferreira is going to come in with his head on fire, and that's going to leave him liable to getting knocked out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. But one thing I can see with Ferreira is I can see potentially maybe Gamrot gets. If you're a Gamrot, you don't get too over anxious or too you extend yourself to especially where Carlos can probably take or Diego Ferreira can take you down, maybe get a submission victory. I won't be surprised if Diego gets a submission victory over Gamrot.
I wouldn't be surprised there, but if Gamrot's smart enough, what he would do is reassess from that moment, get right back up to the feet, and be patient. You know what's gonna get you. Like I think clean boxing is gonna get him a knockout. That's what I think right here.
I mean, I struggle with who I think is gonna win because this is one of those fights that I think Gamrot. I like what I saw from Gamrot, but I also know that Diego Ferreira is not exactly a pushover, and he's lost 2 in a row, but it's to Gerald Gillespie and Beneil Dariush. Matter of fact, 2 of his losses to Beneil Dariush, which that's looked much better over time. I mean, we see how good Dariush is, but it's like I just think that he's faced tougher competition than Gamrot, so it's like I struggle with this fight. Just me personally. I mean, I'll lean towards Gamrot, but I won't be surprised if Ferreira wins. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Can we see this fight? Can we see we get a new lightweight contender in the rankings, or Ferreira keeps the spot? We shall find out. Definitely. then I believe this is the first fight of the main card, if I'm mistaken. Cub Swanson against Darren Elkins, 2 OGs fighting each other.
Most definitely.
I mean, Cubs 27-12, Darren Elkins 26-9. I mean, Darren Elkins' nickname "The Damage" is an appropriate nickname for him because that guy does take damage, and you can see his face sometimes. He definitely takes damage, but he's never out of a fight. We see him come back from fights where he would look like he was getting his butt whipped, but come strong at the end. He's done it before. And Cub Swanson is the guy who's fought the who's who of the 145 weight class. I mean, he's fought guys like Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo, Frankie Aga, Jeremy Stevens, Holloway, etc. You name him, he's fought them. He's beat some of them too. But at the same time, he I expect this to be like a. I think it's gonna be fight of the night personally.
It might, yeah. It's something tells me, yeah. I agree with you. Fight of the night, and I also think, man, I think I might give it to Cub Swanson.
I think so too. I mean, I think Cub wins this fight slightly because both guys are exciting fighters. They're not exactly boring guys, or guys who are. They both bring it. So I
Yeah,
think that's why we have like fight night expectations. I think this could be
this
a barn
definitely
burner.
could be fight of the night. Yep.
I'm excited. I mean, this fight is like I can't. I mean, I'm excited to see. I mean, would Darren Elkins bleed? Probably.
Yes. Yes.
Cuz Swanson might bleed too. I mean, potentially.
But yeah, no, both of these guys might end up bleeding.
And Darren, I just realized Darren Elkins. It's crazy because Darren Elkins has that victory over Meerschaert Betic, which was, when I talk about comeback victories, that was one of the all-time like comeback victories because Betic was whooping him and came back and knocked Betic out with an elbow and third round. Then he was on a roll. He won 2 in a row after that, including victories over Brunias and Michael Johnson. Then lost to Volkanovski, which how well that's aged very well.
Yeah.
And then was on a 4-fight losing streak, but then it's won 2 in a row since then by finishes where he really could choke against Luis Garagori, and then a TKO victory over Derrick Minor back in July. So he's on a little win streak right now. Darren Elkins and Cub Swanson. If I'm trying to remember, his last fight was a loss to Giga Chikazian back in May.
Yep.
Which, I mean, Giga is Giga. I mean, no shame losing that guy.
None.
And before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak. So it's interesting to see like where does who wins? I mean, I think Cub's gonna win personally, but I can see Darren win. But I'm leaning towards Cub, like you.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Cub for this one. But this is fight of the night potential to me.
I see it. I mean, I can see Cub getting a late finish.
Yeah, this goes into the third round. It is a fight of the night without it going to the third round.
It is. Yep, I totally agree with you there. And is there any other fights you want to break down? Talk about maybe before we conclude our stream.
They do have some interesting names here. Raquel Pennington versus Macy Chasen. That one's gonna be interesting to me. Rocky was coming off a very impressive victory against who was her last fight?
Who? Yeah, you're right about that.
Her last fight was very impressive. The way she mixed it in was with dirty boxing and all that. Penny Kianzit. That's who she last fought. And she has a 2-fight winning streak right now. She also beat Marion Renault when Marion Renault retired. So that's going to be a very interesting fight. Also, Sajara Eubanks is on the card as well, so I'm going to be interested in her fight. She fights Melissa Gatto, so yeah, I just want to watch that out. And also, Charles Air Jordan versus Andre Ewell. I'm interested in those 3 fights. And by default, because I counted him out the last fight, I got to watch him now. Gerard Meerschaert. The way he won his last fight, comeback style, I gotta watch him.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Gerald Meerschaert fight got me interested. I do want to see what he does there. And also, you mentioned Rocky Pennington versus Macy Chiasson. Excuse me. I'm surprised that's deep in the prelims, considering that's an important bantamweight fight. Considering Raquel is ranked number 8 and Macy's ranked number 10, you would think that'd be main event prelims, maybe instead of like. I believe it's the 3rd fight in the car. Oh, it's that women's featherweight. Okay. No wonder why. I see. This is a featherweight fight.
I'm
about to say, why is that during the prelims? Because it's an important bantamweight fight, but that explains it. Okay.
It's in the featherweight division. Okay.
Which let's be honest, they don't have a featherweight division. I mean,
They
it's
really
Nunes,
don't.
it's
I don't know.
Nunes,
Yeah.
especially Felicia Spencer retiring like a couple weeks ago.
It don't make no sense.
Yeah, that's a yeah. We can do a whole video on the featherweight situation, like why they have it. Like, it's just. I mean, Kayla Harrison would definitely help, but it's like, who's she gonna? I mean, besides Amanda,
They gotta you'd have to build a whole roster. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. I mean, okay, that explains. Yeah, but the Raquel Pennington Macy Chiasson fight is an interesting fight to see. I mean, I don't think any of them win. They're going to get Amanda Nunes for the featherweight title, especially after what happened last Saturday. She got busy
Nah.
with Julia Pena.
But I mean, at the same time, that's the dilemma of being champ is defending it in two divisions. If you get a number one contender in the other division, especially after you just lost, I know you still you're still a champion at the end of the day. I know you have a rematch clause you want to take care of and things of that nature, but you were originally a champion of one division. At some point, you may have to just choose one division.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens to the featherweight division or the title, knowing that this loss happened. Like, where is Amanda go? Like, does she want to? Yeah, does she want to defend it or does she like do the rematch and defend it afterwards? Maybe someone can rise up and potentially get a title fight in that division.
Decisions.
Yep, she got a lot of decisions that she got to make, and also the UFC's got to make about that weight class. Excuse me, hang on, I don't know why the background changed. My bad. Anyway, yeah. Anything else you want to say before we say goodnight to this?
The fights the prelims I believe start at 4 o'clock, and
Yep.
the main card starts at 7 o'clock. So just everyone be ready for that. It's this Saturday, 4 p.m. That's when the prelims start, and the main card once again starts at 7 p.m. So be on the lookout for that.
Right, and definitely, and I gotta say, yep, I can't wait to see this. This is gonna be a good way to end the year. What a fantastic way for another successful year in UFC. I mean, this year was definitely a great year to not just UFC but MMA, Bellator, UFC, PFL. I mean,
You start off with a bang, so end it off with a bang. Derrick Lewis and Chris Dawkins. Someone's getting knocked out.
yeah. Oh yeah, before we go off the air, I do want to show I mean, I don't know if I should mention it.
No, we have to mention it.
Yes.
This Saturday as well. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley 2.
Yep.
At 9 p.m. I mean, hopefully you'll be able to watch some UFC. You watch some good fighting, and then if you have the stomach and the energy, watch that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot these two are also on the card as well. It's not just Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, but two athletes: Darren Williams versus Frank Gore in a boxing fight. As Dan is just.
Yeah, I gotta go to work in the morning, brother. Let's
end it. Like I said, this is the main show. Lewis and Daukaus. This right here.
Yeah.
This is what we want to see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching us. Thank you guys. We will be doing a show next week, of course, breaking down what happened in the UFC card. But can't wait. It's been we're near the end of the year now, and definitely excited to hopefully we can end the show here on a good. I'm pretty UFC will end in a good note the end of the year, and hopefully we can end the end of the year on a good note also for us on this program. Thank you everyone for tuning in, supporting us. Where you watch us on YouTube, live or after the fact. Also, thank you guys for watching us on audio. Our audio listeners, we appreciate having you guys on. Thank you for listening to us on podcast platforms like Anchor FM, Spotify, Podbean, Reason FM, Buzzsprout. We appreciate you, all you guys, wherever you probably support us and watch us. And like I said, it's been I don't want to get too much sentimental about the year because we still have another show left in the year. Dan, I think you're muted.
Oh, and we still might have one more show right after that to rank all the events that we had this year. We might rank some fights and things of that nature. Fight of the year. We might have to do that this year.
Mm-hmm. You're right. We've probably got it's true. We got at least 2 more shows this year, and I just realized it. So yeah, definitely. We'll can't wait to break it down. Can't wait for these shows. Like I said, it's been a pretty cool year. We've done a lot of good things in the show. Even like interviewing Billy Swanson. Shout out to you if you're watching this.
Most definitely. And salute to Billy Swanson as well on his upcoming Fighters League in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Oh man, I don't have my phone on me, so I have to. I'll bring up the name next week. But salute to Billy Swanson. He's doing big things out there and helping out his community.
Right, and shout out to everyone who's watching us, listening to us, and definitely. And like I said, we'll see you guys next week. And thank you guys for tuning in and watching us. Don't forget to like the video and leave reviews if you can on some of these platforms. Positive reviews, definitely appreciate it. And till then, guys, good night and stay safe and enjoy the fights. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are